Good morning, scholars. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Happy Cinco de Mayo and Teacher Appreciation Day. All right, scholars in math, we have been focusing on our word problems, and this week we're taking a look at those key words that help us know that we are going to be doing an addition problem. Remember, sometimes they trick us, so we have to make sure we understand the problem first. But most of the time when we see these words, they help us know we're going to do addition. All right, some of our addition keywords are total, plus, sum, join, both, together, combined, add, how many in all, increase, and altogether. So let's take a look at those words again. Total, plus, sum, join, both, together, combined, add, how many in all, increase, altogether. So today, you're going to see one of those keywords that are on this list as you get into your problem of the day. Look out for it and see which keyword did you find. And I'll be looking for people who circled that keyword that helped them know which operation they're doing. All right, scholars, we have also been working on time, or we are working on time this week. Yesterday, we focused on our minute hand. And remember, our minute hand is that long hand that tells us the minute. The long hand that tells us the minute. Remember yesterday we talked about how the minute hand is counted by 5. So we count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. The minute hand is always counted by 5s. Today we're going to focus a little bit more on the hour hand. And the hour hand is the shorthand that tells us the hour. The shorthand that tells us the hour. So scholars, the important thing for us to be thinking about as we're looking at this shorthand, one thing we'll know and how we know it's a shorthand is we'll always still see the number. Do you see how the longhand covers up our number? So the shorthand will point right to the hour. And these big numbers tell us our hour. Now, here's the tricky thing. Sometimes our hour hand doesn't point to an hour like this. So if it's 1 o'clock, I'll see that my hour hand is here on the 1 and my minute hand is here on the 12. That tells me it is 1 o'clock. But scholars, you know what? Sometimes as the minutes change, our hour hand changes. So when I'm all the way down here at my minute hand here is at 30 minutes, my hour hand is now between the two numbers. Here's something important to remember. When the hour hand is between two different numbers, the number that comes first is the hour that it is because it hasn't reached 2 o'clock yet. So if I see my hour hand is in between the 1 and the 2, the 1 is the smaller number. The 1 came first, so it is 1:30. When my hour hand is in between the 1 and the 2 and my minute hand is at the 6. Let's practice another one. I'm going to show you a time and see if you can figure out what time it is. Okay, scholars. My hour hand is in between the 2 and the 3, and my minute hand is pointing over here at the 8. Let's see what time that is. So it's between the 2 and the 3. So which number comes first? The 2. So it's 2, and then let's count for our minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So the time when we look at this clock is 2:40. Let me give you another one. Let's see if I could trick you this time. Okay, scholars, this is a tricky one. This time shows us the hour hand pointing almost at the 10, but it's between The 9 and the 10. If it was all the way at the 10, it would be pointing all the way at the 10. But do you see how it's just a tiny bit before? These are the trickiest times because we think it's pointing at the 10, but it's not quite. Look at it, it's between the 9 and the 10. But the minute hand is almost at a brand new hour. So when we're thinking about times like this, we still have to think, what two numbers is my hour hand pointing between? It's pointing between the 9 and the 10. So which number comes first? The 9. Now we can say that it's 9, and then we start from 12. Remember, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. It's a 9:55. Do you see how tricky that is? Because this hour hand is almost at the 10, but it's not quite there. So scholars, don't get tricked today. When you take a look at clocks, you're going to be trying to read the time today, and you're going to be looking at the hour hand, which sometimes will be in between two numbers. Remember, always look at the first number. So let's do a quick check-in. Which number comes first? 2 or 3? 2, that's right. So if the minute hand or the hour hand is in between the 2 and the 3, we know it's 2 o'clock. What about 7 and 8? 7 comes first. So if it's in between the 7 and the 8, we always say it's 7 o'clock. It's going to be in the 7 hour. So don't get fooled today. Make sure you check and see what hour is it by looking at the number that comes first if it's between two different numbers. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day of learning.